Okay, good morning class. So, hindi ko kayo makikita ngayon. But this is your teacher, Teacher Maricar Retonel. And we are still in our class MSD 121, tackling about information technology. So, today, our lesson is about the old media and the new era. So, basically, our objectives are to understand what is considered traditional media, to know what are the impact of emerging technologies on traditional media, and to discuss the effects of emerging technologies and how we handle media. So, disclaimer lang mga ka-good vibes sa aking mga student kasi today I am feeling down the weather, pero I will discuss the lesson as much as I can, as much energy that I can give you. So hopefully you will learn from this module. So first, before we can decipher what are the traditional media and what are the emerging technologies, first we need to know what are, of course, the traditional media muna. So first, we have what we call the print media. So when we say print media, aside from the media that we already know now, it doesn't mean na it's gone already or it's dead, but rather today kasi it's just in another form. But when we talk about what are the traditional media, those are the printed ones or the analogs. They are not in digital form. They are not in soft form. Okay, excuse my mispronunciation. Soft form. But rather, when we talk about analog or the printed media, it's more on the hard or the tangible print. So, first, we have the newspapers. So, it is the most popular form of print media and used to deliver news or information. So, before, sa panahon pa ng ating mga parents, the number one source of real information and also probably misinformation are the newspapers because it is widely distributed and it is the fastest form of print media during that time. So those are the newspapers. So most of us already know what newspapers are. So I will not delve into that. Then next is, this is another example of a print media. This is called the newsletters. So, siguro nag-wonder ka muna, what are the newsletters? So, anong difference niya with newspapers? So, basically, newsletters are for certain groups only. It's more of like, there are targeted people that needs to subscribe with these newsletters. Then they will receive these newsletters. Then it will talk about certain topics for that certain niche. For example, in this example, we have the newsletter for teachers of kindergarten, the newsletter of the Little Tykes Preschool newsletter. So these are just produced for certain people. So these are printed materials that include information for a certain topic or group of people. So, wag tayong malito between the newspapers and the newsletters. So, newsletters are sort of like a newspaper, but it is smaller in production and more catered to certain groups only. And then we have the magazine. So these are printed materials, often glossy or colored. So this features certain topics like entertainment, celebrities, food, hobbies, fashion, and many more. So there are many kinds of magazine. Then also your Reader's Digest are also a form of magazine. So hindi siya all throughout like superficial lang na puro pictures or mostly pictures. There are also magazines that are widely used for reading as well. So, ang pinagkaiba niya lang, of course, with the newspaper and newsletters are that it's different material. They use different materials for magazines. And certainly, the topics are also targeted. They are not for general public. They are not usually they don't have these columns, or they should not also delve into hard news. But actually, there are magazines that are investigative. Ibig sabihin, they talk about certain topic in business or in crime or anything na very targeted and very, what do you call this, informative. So, hindi mo masasabi na ang magazine are just superficial, like wala lang siya, puro picture lang siya, but rather there are different kinds of magazines. They could talk much or they could talk less. Ang pinagkaiba niya lang sa iba, the material that is used for it. Alright. Then next are the banner and the billboards. So, ano yung banner and billboards? Those are printed or painted materials used for advertising and promotion. So, most likely, there are large, or yun nga, sa ating example, ga-building ang laki. So, before, wala po tayong tinatawag na tarpaulin printer. So, mga naka-experience pa. Ayan. May check lang ako mga student. Ayan. Hindi pa siya yung, before, syempre wala pa namang like large printers or massive printers for billboards. What they do is that, one is they either paint or use stickers, or for some like larger, what do you call this, advertising promotions, they also use lights, but not as much LEDs, kasi LEDs were later introduced around 2000s and such. All right. Then there are, of course, the printed traditional material, what we call books. So until now, of course, books are our source of information for like detailed information about how we know things, or what do you call this? In academe, of course, ang number one pa rin na source natin are books. And of course, other are journals. Technically, journals and books are the same, but what the difference between books and journals is that books are published by big publishing houses, and journals are produced, of course, by academic institution or the students. So, yun yung mga tinatawag nating thesis natin. Pero technically, they can be considered as your books. If you're done with your thesis and you have your journal, other student can also access your journals or your thesis, then they can use it in academic setting. So, books are the oldest kind of print media. Why? Because before, hindi pa uso ang printing, kahit hindi pa uso ang printing press, meron tayong mga books through, of course, yung mga ating mga, tawag niyan, yung mga nagsusulat, our calligraphers. So, as early as wala pang printing press, meron na tayong books. It just so happened that books, or the emergence of yung mass-produced books happened when the printing press was, what do you call this, invented. So, it could be fiction or non-fiction. So, background lang, hindi naman kasama sa ating curriculum or sa ating lesson. Fictions are those who are that are done out of our imagination. It could be, of course, na pwede naman siya hango sa actual situation, but most are imaginatives. And then non-fiction are retelling of certain events or certain facts. And of course, books are often used to either share stories or share knowledge. Ayan. Brochures. So, sa mga naka-experience pa, lalo na sa mga, medyo, nasa millennials na pababa, mula boomers, Gen X, and millennials, usong-uso talaga dati ang brochures. What are brochures? Brochures are. So, these are printed media that provides brief information about a certain product, service, or company. So, anong pinagkaiba niya sa flyers? Si brochure kasi, more on the catalog side siya. Ibig sabihin, may certain product, then details. And it is often used for choosing products that you want to buy. Then, of course, the flyers are just, the brief information about a certain product. Then, of course, I already mentioned the flyers. So these are printed media used by brands to create awareness, and it is often distributed in crowded areas to reach a large audience. So, students, so may binigay ako advance na mga material with you, the modules, the one in doc file. So, remind ko lang pala, you can add or like put a footnote on those materials kasi sometimes I will mention during these modules sa mga videos ko about another topics or certain extra knowledge. So, pwede kayong maglagay ng footnote and don't rely too much on those materials kasi you can also like add your own ideas. Kasi in my class, I don't really encourage yung what we call yung rote knowledge, yung alam niyo lang kung ano yung definition and such. I want you to also have a deeper understanding about certain topics. For example, I am discussing this traditional media. I am discussing this for you to just have the knowledge and at the same time able to discuss later the differences or the effects of the traditional the effects of the emerging technologies to our traditional media. So at least may background lang kayo kung ano yung mga pinag-uusapan natin about the terms. But ang focus ko talaga, what I want to see from my student is that they understand. Wala akong pakialam kung like you are not magaling sa grammar or magaling mag-express when it comes to yung in words, but I want to at least see on your discussions yung kung ano yung pinaka gist or yung pinaka what do you call this, the heart of what we are talking about. So doon mahahappy na ako, and I can guarantee you that you will do well in this class by sharing your own thoughts. Then we have, moving on, going back to our discussion, we have this printed media, what we call direct mail. So anong difference niya sa ating yung mga personal mail na natatanggap natin? So hindi na masyadong uso nga ang ngayon direct mail kasi because of the emergence of digital technology, you can have letters just in an instant. Kaya minsan, di ba, yung pinapagawa ka na lang ng letter, tinatamad ka pa. So, ayun. But anyways, noong unang panahon, merong tayong tinatawag na direct mail. Actually, this is still prevalent in other countries such as Europe because minsan nagpapadala sila ng physical coupon. So, you cannot have digital coupons sa ibang mga establishment. So, sinong backward sa atin ngayon? Charis. Ayun. Sa atin, pwede na tayo magka-coupon by QR code. Ayan. Pero sa ibang bansa, they still, have these physical coupons. Anyway, direct mail are printed media in a letter form. It is often sent by companies through mail to create brand awareness or information dissemination. So, sa mga naka-experience pa nito, actually, I experienced this during my college. So, yung mga millennials dyan, hindi pa tayo nahuhuli. Because before, I studied, of course, in Manila. So, meron sila yung mga pinapadala through mail, yung mga flyers din actually, yung iba. Pero, ang iba, as in letter form, with matching yung mga promotions nila. Like, for example, for Yellow Cab or Domino's Pizza. Domino's ba? Basta blue yun. Hindi ko na siya maalala na. Basta usually mga pizza company yan. Nagsisend sila ng mga promotions nila at the same time yung kung saan yung mga nila, establishment nila. So, ayun. Then, ito na. The Yellow Pages. So, actually, na-experience ko ang Yellow Pages during my elementary times until my high school time. Kasi meron pang telepono. Pero during that time, mind you, meron na talagang cellphone. Ang reason lang na we have these Yellow Pages, before kasi, emerging technology talaga ang cellphone. So, it's not a, formal way to communicate business-wise and as well as, of course, na medyo ano pa tayo nun mahal pa ang load. Then at the same time, hindi lahat ng tao may cellphone. So, naabutan ko pa nga na may Alcatel pa, tsaka yung mga medyo ano pa, yung pang matagalan ng mga cellphone. So, ano yung Yellow Pages? So, Yellow Pages, yun yung parang mukha siyang libro. So, ang itsura niya talaga is, alam niyo yung phone directory. Actually, yung phone directory, yun yung nandoon yung Yellow Pages nyo. Pero minsan, sa ibang lugar, yung Yellow Pages ay hiwalay sa phone directory. So, kasi, yung Yellow Pages are more on advertising side. So, nakalagay doon yung business directory nyo, the featuring lists and ads of those contacts, addresses, and information of business. So, pag mayaman-yaman ka, actually, it's a form of advertisement. Pag mayaman-yaman ka, pwede mong bayaran si Sugni kasi meron sila dating Yellow Pages. If you have bigger spot in the Yellow Pages, it means that you advertised your business, so you have paid for the bigger spot. So, the same, di ba, it's like similar with your yearbook. Pag malaki ang binayad mo sa yearbook, may malaki kang picture dyan. Tapos, pag maliit lang ang picture mo sa yearbook, ibig sabihin yan, either nabulsa mo na yung sorry, inuboto na yun. Nabulsa mo na yung mga donation sa'yo or yung mga support sa'yo or hindi lang nagbayad talaga yung parents mo ng mas malaking advertising doon sa yearbook kasi what's the use? Pwede ko namang can use the money, di ba? Anyways, so yun yung Yellow Pages, yung business directory featuring lists and ads of the contacts, addresses, and information of businesses. Ayan. So, basically, if you notice, majority of all the print media, especially the short forms of print media are for advertising and product awareness. Pero since nag-iba na ngayon, so mamaya titingnan natin naman kung ano yung impact ng nangyari doon sa what happened with the emerging technologies. So, next are the broadcast media. So this is very close to my heart because I am a major of film and audiovisual communication. So actually, my college is in mass communication. Pero ang aking major ay more on the film side. And of course, actually kung film major ka, parang minsan napupunta ka rin sa broadcast media, television. So, ayan. So, television are mediums that transmits moving images and sounds. So, ang ginagamit dito is broadcast communication. So, anong pinagkaiba niya sa radio? Of course, radio are mediums that transmit sounds only through the radio waves. Iba ang kanyang band. So, magkaiba sila. Dati, ang television uses antenna or cables, but I will discuss later how emerging technologies change how we perceive television now. Kasi kung pag sinabi mong television now, probably you are thinking the smart TV na, hindi na yung analog na style, either antenna or via cable. Kasi marami na ngayong nagpapaputo ng cable nila kasi mas prefer nila na search online or di kaya kinakonect yung kanilang computer or they have the smart TV to search online so that they can get access to TV, what we call now the television, the new television. Ayan. So, ayan, medyo self-explanatory naman na kung ano yung TV and radio kasi existing pa naman siya ngayon. So, hopefully naman na wala namang masyadong tawag niyan, ignorante talaga when it comes to television and radio. Kahit na wala kayong TV or radio, at least alam nyo kung ano itsura. So, ayun. Sorry, excuse. Ayan, inubo ko. Ayan. San siya na at Happy New Year. Ayan, traditional media with emerging technologies. So, ito yung pinaka-importante na part. Yung unang part natin is I just discussed the traditional media so that you can appreciate how emerging technologies took over this traditional media and actually some books says that print media is already dead, which I contest because print media still exists, and some print media, what we call the traditional print media, change the form, but they did not change the tradition. So first, I will discuss what changed this traditional media. So, ang ngayon, yung pinaka-blatant na emerging technology that took over all these technologies is the internet. So, I will discuss the internet and its history. So, actually, there is no definite internet. Ibig sabihin, wala naman talagang sinabi mong naka-invento lang ng internet. Why? Because internet is more of a process than a distinct technology. Ibig sabihin, nangyari lang siya dahil because of our drive to create a system that could connect kumbaga tinatawag natin, each computer or devices in one place. So, ano ba ang pinagmulan ng internet? So, first, phase 1. During the 1970s and 1980s, tanging ang naka-access lang ng tinatawag natin internet, pero not the internet that we know now. They have a internet for them to, of course, access each other, lalo na syempre gera. They need to have information as fast as they can. When in fact, actually, until now, radio is still the fastest form of communication compared to other medias. Did you know that? Na radio pa rin yung almost real-time mong napapakinggan in a bigger crowd or scope or disseminated information compared to other medias. Kasi pag napansin nyo, pag nag-live kayo or nag-video call kayo, though actually millisecond na lang ang difference, but still, the radio can just, can out fast or is faster than the other medias. So, balik tayo sa phase 1 kasi nag-segue na naman si teacher. Ayan. So, phase 1, the military or academic internet during the 1970s and 1980s. So, ginamit nila ito for warfare. So, pag naalala nyo, ang dating, talaga, of course, proponent or the ones who use the internet are the Americans. Kasi sila ang bida-bida dyan when it comes to internet. Then, phase 2 is the scientific or academic internet during the 1980s. Okay, so lahat ba naka-access nito? Actually, hindi. You need to actually pay for the system for you to use it. And when we call internet na internet during the academic phase 2, ibig sabihin lang nito, para lang magkaroon ng mabilisang record ang mga teacher when it comes to their student. Kasi, ang mga record ng mga student noon ay nakaano pa rin. Sino bang naka-experience ng Windows, yung ano pa? Hindi yung Windows na may mga buttons, but rather yung kulay green na nagbi-blink-blink pa, green or white, yung MS-DOS. So, actually, you can search it in the internet kung ano yung tsura ng MS-DOS. Kasi actually, na-experience ko pa ang MS-DOS and how to access. So, to access it, kailangan mo pa mag-type ng C, yung colon, tapos dash, program files, dash, folder, ganyan, and so on, bago mo ma-access yung file mo. Then, you need to have also a diskette for you to save your files. So, yung internet lang ay ginagamit lang for the records of, academic or scientific way. So, ayun. Then, phase 3. Ito na yung sinasabi nating nag-start na naging public, pero not totally public, ang internet. So, the avant-garde countercultural internet. So, kasabay kasi ng pag-usbong ng internet is yung pag-usbong din ng tinatawag nating Microsoft. Kasi ginalingan ni Bill Gates noong unang panahon at nagkaroon na tayo na yung mga buttons, yung may start button na, tapos pwede na tayong maglaro sa computer. So, actually, pwede namang maglaro ng computer noong nung MS-DOS. Pero mas interactive, mas colorful, and mas user-friendly yung Microsoft noon, 1995 if I'm not mistaken. So early 1990s and from early 1990s until 95. Ayun, nagkaroon na tayo ng tinatawag nating avant-garde or countercultural internet na hindi siya ginagamit lang for academic purpose or the military purpose. Pero ano bang itsura nun? Actually, more on website lang, access lang ng information, more on words lang. Tapos, at least, meron na tayong yung interconnection. And of course, the first one who benefited with the emergence of first internet are the Americans, the Europeans, and the first world. Pero, actually, I already experienced as well ng as early as around 1995 siguro and above. Meron ng paunti-unti kasi naka-dial up na yung mga tao. Yung tipong, alam nyo ba yung dial up? Dial up is yung para makapag-internet ka, kailangan mong kunin ang kable ng iyong telepono. Kaya hindi makatawag yung mga tao sa inyo. Tapos, meron pa yung, may certain sound pa yan bago ko mag-enter. Tapos, binabayaran mo yan. Di ko, maalala, pero parang around 300 pesos yung isang card. Tapos, or 100 pesos. So, malaki na yun nung unang panahon, nung 1990s. Para lang maka-access ka sa internet. So, early use are, of course, yung sharing ng mga small videos. Medyo low-res pa nga yung mga videos. Tsaka hindi siya, like the videos that you can see are more on the clip art, yung parang animation, than yung nakikita na natin na YouTube way of yung mga videos. So, yan. Then, finally, phase 4. Ito na yung exciting part. It was the emergence of public internet. It started during dahil di ba binanggit ko kanina, dahil lumabas si Microsoft 95, nagkaroon ng boom sa internet at it was done it became available sa public. So, sa picture sa presentation ko, makikita nyo, actually yan yung cafe. Yung sinasabi natin, iba kasi yung coffee shop na minimin natin ngayon, kasi yung coffee shop na minimin natin, or internet cafe, or cafe natin ngayon is, ng wifi na lang yung pinoprovide, then at the same time, you will bring your own devices. Pero noong unang panahon, ito yung tinatawag natin na internet cafe. So, sa US, pwedeng kang kumain. Pero ang internet cafe natin sa noong unang panahon ng mga around 90s or pataas na, mga 2000s na actually nag-boom ang internet cafe sa Pilipinas. Hindi ka pwedeng magdala ng pagkain sa loob. Pwede yata yung mga chichirya, mga gano'n, kasi binibenta din nila. Pero, yun nga, iba talaga yung consumer, tawag nun, tradition ng bawat country. So, ayun. So, yan yung nakikita nyo dyan. Internet cafe yan. Pero, more on sa food yan. Food ang number 1. Parang Tesco's yata yan. Or Burger King, if I'm not mistaken. Basta siya, internet cafe. Cafe siya ng isang sikat na fast food. Then, to your left, sa screen left natin, makita nyo yan yung pinakaunang Facebook. Tapos, tawag pa nila is the Facebook. So, it's not actually public. Kasi ang maunang nag-access ng the Facebook are the Harvard people. Kasi si Mark Zuckerberg is from Harvard, and he have this website using the internet na the Facebook. Ang ginawa niya dyan, nag-log in yung mga tao. Actually, yung iba pa nga yata, hindi pa naggumawa ng account dyan. Tapos, parang pinare-rate niya yung mga tao. Pinare-rate niya kung maganda ba o hindi. Tapos, parang until na may mapili sila na sa huli, kasi dalawang picture yan, pipiliin nila yung pinakamaganda sa dalawa until na may mapili na pinakamaganda doon sa mga selection. So, yun yung, kaya siya naging Facebook, kasi puro siya itsura ng tao na pinagpipilian ng mga Harvard student to know who are the hottest people in Harvard. Siyempre, very nerdy kasi ginamit niya pa yung technology para lang, di ba, makapili ng pinakamaganda. Very Harvard or very nerdy. Then, phase 5, yun na yung tinatawag natin commercial internet. It is during the late 1990s. So napapansin nyo, medyo overlapping at there is no certain year that can tell which one is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but rather just, yung mga marker lang. Kasi, internet is not just one entity. Kasi during this phase 5, meron pa ring phase 4 na nangyayari. Yung meron pa ring, the internet is publicized but not really for everyone. Until na yung phase 5, ito na yung pinaka, nagkaroon na talaga ng internet na binibenta. So, pag nakita nyo sa ating presentation sa kaliwa, yan yung first, or isa sa mga first na advertisement na nagpi-feature the use of internet. So, may nakita kayo dyan sa baba. Hindi siya yung Internet Explorer na nakasanayan natin. But rather, there are different kinds of search engines and also different kind of site na binibenta. Kasi yung iba dyan, hindi mo ma-access until na binayaran mo. Pero syempre, noong unang panahon kasi naka-disk or naka-disket ang mga programs, so madali lang siyang kopyahin. Madali lang siyang i-grab. Then, pasa-pasa lang, ganyan. So, wala ring sense na nagbebenta sila ng internet kasi technically, you can just, copy everything. So, pero nung unang panahon, syempre, takot pa yung mga tao na makapagnakaw or makagrab or makakuha ng mga material, lalo na pag digital. Kasi it's a new technology and they treat it as like TV or radio na hindi mo pwedeng, to grab it lang na just like that. So, sa right side, makikita nyo, yan yung AOL. Isa sa mga naunang mga search engines. Sorry. So, ang majority ng gamit niya talaga is to connect people for such travel, information, personal finance, actually more on website lang. Unlike kung ano na yung ginagamit natin sa internet ngayon na pwede mong i-edit yung sarili kong workspace, Excel or something. Meron tayong collaboration. Internet before is simply just accessing other website or other pages. Then finally, ito na yung phase 6. Na nandito na tayo. I don't know if there is already what we call phase 7 kasi phase 6 basically talks about what we call the Web 2. Yun yung interactive internet. So wag malito ha. Web 1, wala namang tinawag talagang Web 1 kasi nga yun yung starting. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman naisip ni Web 1, ni World Wide Web na magkakaroon ng another web. Pero ito yung Web 2.0, ito yung tinatawag nating interactive internet. So, nag-start siya noong 2000s. Anong pinagkaiba niya sa dating internet? Diba sabi ko dati, pag phase 5, medyo lang siya, yung browsing lang, titingnan mo lang yung website, pero wala kang magagawa doon. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-interact doon. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-upload ng picture mo. Hindi mo pwedeng baguhin, basically, yung interface ng website. It changed during the 2000. That's why yung Friendster and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, tsaka YouTube or Indeed, yung mga ganun, meron ng cloud technology. Ibig sabihin, yung cloud technology or the emergence of first cloud technologies, ay pwede ka na mag-upload, pwede ka na mag-share, pwede ka na gumawa ng sarili mong content, pwede mo nang ipakita sa mundo yung mukha mo. So, it's more interactive than the other phases, which is actually very alarming and very exciting. So, alarming, why? Kasi later we will discuss mga later parts of the semester about the responsibility when it comes to surveillance and as well as creating our digital identities and such. So, ayun. Then, meron na tayong tinatawag din na Web 3.0. So, eto medyo hindi pa alam naman ng public, but I don't think na they are very into it pa. Kasi it means that, kasi sa Web 2.0, meron lang tayong mga cloud platform. But in Web 3.0, may iba't ibang, kumbaga, tinatawag tayong spaces or decentralized autonomous internets. So, ano yun? So, meron, of course, yung pinaka parang naririnig natin, meron tayong tinatawag na dark web. So, isang part lang yon ng tinatawag nating decentralized autonomous. Then, there is this, what we call the Bitcoin. So, hindi siya technically, it's a part of the internet, pero actually, it's another entity in itself. So, may mga sarili ng economies sa loob ng internet. So, wag na tayong mag-delve masyado dyan kasi it's not really highly publicized because, of course, those are like dangerous autonomous platforms that we cannot access right away because it's not public and probably it will lose you some things like money and such. Pero it's not negative naman, but rather, it's something to look forward to. Okay, so how does internet affect traditional media? First and foremost, sabi daw ni Croteau and Hoynes, the new era of communication is made sense by the flow of information, and this is the main purpose of the internet. So, ibig sabihin, unat sa lahat, ang pinaka-purpose talaga ng internet is so that we can communicate. Pero, as time goes by, sabi nila, internet usage is not limited na daw to communication, but rather, it is an integral part of how people act and live. Ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon tayo ng extended reason why we use the internet. Hindi na siya for communication alone or for dissemination of information, but rather, nakatatak na pala siya sa buhay natin. Ibig sabihin, for example, if you are in Facebook, if you have, lalo na, di ba, mapansin niyo yan, sa Christmas, pag hindi lang nakita ang picture mo, sasabihin sa inyo, wala kang handa. Or kung halimbawa, binyag ng kapatid mo, binyag ng anak mo, tapos hindi mo pinost, parang hindi ka proud. Parang ganun yung effect. Or minsan, halimbawa, hindi mo lang nag-greet yung kamag-anak mo online, may something na like you are in bad relationship with them. When in fact, actually, di ba pag ikaw naman, nasa isang bahay lang kayo, tapos ba't ka pa mag-greet? Hayaan mo yung ibang taong mag-greet sa kanya online. Kasi di ba, ba't ka pa mag-greet kung kasama mo lang naman sa bahay, bakit? Di mo ba magawang i-greet personally? And in fact, we are more bold when it comes to social media, pero pag actual mo nang kausap sa harap-harap mo, parang nahihiya ka pa. Ganun katulad nung chinat mo kagabi. Sobrang kilig mo sa kanya, tapos maya-maya, pag nagkita na pala kayo, ay, wale, ganyan. So, ibig sabihin, even though, initially, we have these technologies as limited to communication or information dissemination, nagkakaroon tayo ng sarili nating motibo when it comes to using these platforms or the internet. Okay. So, eto naman. Ano daw naman yung impact ng mga digital technologies? So, wag malito ha. Digital technologies are those that are most likely done through digital ways. For example, yung mga soft copy ng mga document ninyo or Actually, it's in the IT aspect, it's more broad to like explain and theorize what our digital things are. Pero basically, those digital things are not your analogs. Ibig sabihin, not necessarily they are tangible. Most are, you can see in the digital space. Ayun. So, for print media, books are now available as e-books and on Kindles. Sa mga hindi pa alam kung ano yung Kindle, ito yung actually, Kindle is a product. It's a brand. So, parang nag-promote ako ngayon, no? The proper name ng Kindle is e-ink technology. So, ibig sabihin, mukha siyang papel. Yung tablet siya na mukhang papel. So, ayun. Kaya siya e-ink kasi mukha siyang, paper. In addition to the traditional softbound or hardbound printed book. So, yun. Instead of your traditional na yung books na yung na-skim nyo pa, yung na-flip nyo pa, you have these digital things. Okay. So, personally, I prefer the e-books or the Kindles because I have my own personal Kindles and tablet. Why? Kasi meron akong I have nasal allergy. So pag libro kasi masyadong maalikabok. Pero nothing wrong. Actually may mga tao talagang prefer yung gumamit ng libro kasi iba daw yung feel, iba yung amoy. Syempre yung amoy sa akin is na may allergies ako doon. So hindi ako makarelate or hindi ko ma-appreciate agad-agad. Pero there was a time na of course I read books through the soft-bounded or hard-bounded copies. Sorry. Ayan. Another impact of emerging technologies for printed media. Printed or painted billboards and banners had been replaced by LEDs. Yun yung mga LED wall nyo. Then, actually, recently, mayroon ng kapalit si LED. So, before LED is your LCDs and now your LEDs. So, patingkad ng patingkad. Kaya nga daw, actually, when you go to places such as Korea, may tinatawag na silang light pollution. Akalaan nyo, may light pollution. Ano siya? Kahit gabi, parang kahit nandun ka sa pinakamadilim na part ng Korea, yung sa bundok na part, makikita mo yung lights na masyadong, ano tawag nito? Parang nandun pa rin siya sa atmosphere. So, mahirap siya explain kung hindi pa na-experience. Pero, you can search about light pollution. So, naging problem na rin siya. Why? Because, yung mga animals kasi tayong nocturnal, like the owls, or even kahit hindi yung mga nocturnal animals, they supposed to sleep in a certain time kasi wala naman silang orasan na malaman nila na wala ng araw, 'di ba? Kung kaya lang makita nila na masyadong maliwanag, syempre hindi sila makakatulog kasi by instinct if it's sunny, they are awake. Then the same with owls. Owls should be like gising sa gabi, pero since parang feeling nila maliwanag pa rin, baka nakatulog na rin sila. So, yun yung result ng changing from the printed or painted billboards and banners to LEDs. So, ayan. Then, advertising is not limited to printed materials anymore. People can make use of new media to advertise their products and services. So, yun nga, hindi na tayo mahilig sa mga brochures, when in fact, siguro yung mga mother natin, yung mga Gen X natin, medyo nandun pa sila na dapat nakikita nila sa papel. Pero tayo kasi, kahit yung soft copy na lang, millennials and above, well actually, sorry na lang dun sa minsan kasi nakakalimutan ko, yung ibang student pala is Gen X pa rin. But anyways, ayun, medyo nandun na tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng inclination sa soft copy. Kaya lang, di ba, minsan parang, napapansin ko lang lalo na paggawa ng letter, yung kahit ultimo, promissory na, note, chinachat sa mga designated na mga departments. Hindi siya formal kasi na, mag-a-ask ka ng guidance or like, mag-a-ask ka ng palugit. Pero hindi formal kasi yung nag-chat ka lang sa certain entities, tapos okay, nag-oo sila pero walang written agreement. So, ayun, medyo ingat-ingat tayo dun. So, back to for print media. Even we have digital copies, no? Actually, hindi naman na nawawala all throughout yung ibang mga kasi pag nakita nyo naman kahit halalan, mas prefer natin nakikita yung ating mga politiko through tarpaulins, mga ganyan, flyers, ganyan. Oo, nagkakaroon ng factor yung online nila. Pero minsan, doon pa rin tayo doon sa, nakikita natin na sa daanan, dyan yung mga flyers nila. And tarpaulins and such. Sorry. And for news magazines and newsletters are now shared through the internet. So, ibig sabihin, imbes na, eto pa nga parang nalulugi minsan yung mga news entities natin kasi nga, hindi na tayo bumibili ng newspaper. Well, I will also contest na actually, kumikita pa naman yung mga news entities natin, especially the likes of Rappler or Inquirer. Bakit? Kasi, pag nakita nyo sa mga website nila, sa bandang dulo, may mga advertisements sila. So, ibig sabihin, hindi naman sila totally lugi kasi binabayaran din sila for the advertisement. Kasi the same way with the newspapers na yung sinecirculate nila, meron ding mga advertisement dyan. Hindi lang halata yung iba kasi minsan it's a form of feature stories or sometimes konting, medyo part lang ng page pero may mga advertisement din dyan. So, doon kumikita yung print. So, ayan. Then, for broadcast media, film and television companies are not limited to broadcasting, but rather make use of streaming technology. So, I mentioned before that I work in ABS-CBN as a production assistant. So, actually, nalibot ko na yung ABS in like the production side. So, before pa lang, kasi I was there during the time of, yung bago mag-presidency ni Digong and during the presidency of former President Duterte. Actually, beforehand pa naman, si ABS-CBN was gearing towards streaming platforms. Kasi kung maalala nyo, mas nauna talaga si I Want TFC or I Want TV during that time. Later changed to I Want TFC. And even, we have the digital box. So, before that, nagkaroon na talaga ng gearing up towards streaming platforms, yung digital na. Hindi na yung free TV, yung via antenna, tsaka cable. Kasi, according to studies, yung mga tao kasi, medyo choosy na rin sa mga pinapanood. Ibig sabihin, hindi dahil pangit yung mga palabas, kundi they tend to want to watch some things or anything na according to their own schedule and according to their own way. So, ibig sabihin, kasi ang iba, lalo na yung mga call center, panggabi kasi sila, so hindi nila napapanood yung mga teleserye na gusto nila. Then, at the same time, yung mga pang-umaga, hindi nila napapanood yung mga gusto nilang panoorin sana within the day. So, ayun, that's why in general naman to, film and television is gearing up towards platforms such as, kahit ngayon makikita nyo, binibenta na ni ABS ang kanyang mga content or mga teleserye sa Prime Videos or Netflix. Kaya mapapanood mo na yung ibang mga teleserye nila sa Netflix. Yung iba naman, ibang platform naman. Kahit si Disney, yung Disney Channel, they mounted the Disney Channel doon sa Disney Plus kasi yung mga bata na rin very digital na rin sila. They tend to not watch the TV per se. They rather watch yung kung ano yung pinili nila. So ganun. So maraming iba't ibang klaseng mga streaming platforms. So, kung hindi pa kayo aware, ito yung mga streaming platforms or technologies. These are not limited to this lang ha. And music and listening platforms. So, sa ating streaming for the moving images, we have this what we call the technology of a digital box. Anong pinagkaiba niya sa cable mom? Ang digital box is like parang yung parang maliit siya na box. Tapos, ang purpose niyan is to connect to the internet so that you can access your films and your series na kayo na yung pipili. Kumbaga, para rin siyang internet. Pero, mas malinaw na parang may certain niche siya kasi. For example, if you buy the ABS-CBN Digibox, karamihan dyan, of course, galing sa ABS. If you buy Digibox from other countries, malamang ang nakapalabas dyan is yung kung ano yung mga programs nila. So, and at the same time, mas malinaw kasi kahit i-free TV mo, kahit naka-digital, parang combination ni Digibox at ni Free TV. So, combination niyan is, yun nga, mas malinaw sa audience. At tapos, yung mag-a-ask naman, ma'am, can you consider yung mga GSAT namin as emerging technologies? Yes and no. Well, technically, GSAT, yung mga, yung mga disc nyo, TV disc, those are just another form of antenna, which is also an analog technology. So, technically, parang iniba lang na version. So, kaya medyo wag kayong mag-expect sa GSAT na medyo malinaw pa rin. Kasi, of course, malinaw pa rin na yung nakakable, yung Digibox. Ay, hindi, the Digibox is hindi nakakable, pero naka-internet. Pero mas malinaw pa rin yung naka-cable or di kaya naka-internet. Ayun, another streaming platform is Netflix. And another are iFlix, I1TFC, Vio, Vimeo, Hulu, YouTube. Actually, si YouTube, syempre free naman siya. Pero meron silang YouTube Plus. So, another is Prime Videos. Ang Prime, dati ay isang cable channel. Ngayon, nagkaroon na rin sila ng sarili nila. The same with HBO kasi dati, pag nanonood kami ng pelikula, syempre, titingnan mo yung schedule nila kung kailan nila papalabas yung certain movie. Pero ngayon, dahil may HBO Plus ka na, pwede mo nang piliin kung anong movie, kung anong merong available sa kanila. So, ayan. Then, for the music and listening platforms, hindi ko na sinama kasi yung, kasi sa ibang libro, diniscuss pa yung music industry. When in fact, I think it's the same with, like, the change naman lang is the way we listen eh. So, music and listening platforms are like Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Qobuz, Amazon Music Unlimited, Deezer, and Napster. So, impact din pala nito sa music industry. So, dati kasi, if you want to be famous, you need to have a producer and a production company and a distributor. Medyo technical, no? Pero, anyway, may kumpanya ka dapat napuntahan para mag-produce ka ng music. Ibig sabihin, kailangan magpunta doon sa recording studio nila, pa-check doon sa producer kung okay sa kanya, then, tsaka, ipe-play sa radyo para ma-promote, then, bebenta ka ng mga CD, DVD, or something, or such. Sorry. Pero ngayon, dahil nagkakaroon tayo ng ibang technologies such as Spotify, YouTube Music, ganyan, nag-iba yung market. Ibig sabihin, if you want to be famous and you don't have the budget, you can just in your room or sa sarili mong studio or sarili mong pera, pwede ka mag-produce ng sarili mong music. That's why maraming emerging artists nowadays na galing sa mga new platforms such as TikTok. Like, for example, ni Nayana, or, di ba, dancer siya. Tapos, sumikat siya first sa TikTok. Tsaka siya kinuha ng isang, company. And, for example, the likes of course, si Adi, tsaka si Zach Tabudlo, and si JK, they are already recording artists with their own companies. Pero, paano ba sila sumisikat nowadays? Hindi sa radyo. More on, they produce their music sa Spotify. Pag kinagat ng tao, tsaka nila gagawing album. So, bumaliktad, di ba? Parang, noon, gagawa ka muna ng EP, yung certain single. Tsaka ka gagawa ng album. Pag kailangan pumatok muna. Pero, beforehand, meron ka you have already set in mind na syempre, may naka-ready ng CD yan. Ngayon, hindi. Ngayon, pag-produce ka sa Spotify, sa YouTube, tingnan mo kung kakagatin ng tao. Pag kinagat ng tao, pwede mo lang ibenta. Then, yun nga wala naman nagbebenta ng CD ngayon kasi wala namang... Well, may nagbebenta ng CD is for collection purposes na lang. Kasi nga, meron na tayong tinatawag na digital aspect. Kasi nga, pag napansin nyo yung mga laptop nyo, wala na siyang CD player. Then at the same time, recently, yung mga radyong binibili nyo, hindi na for AM, FM, at for DVD and CD, but rather, mas gusto nyo na lang na naka-Bluetooth siya. So, ayun, nag-iiba ang industry when it comes to emerging technologies. Ayan. So, I will wrap up everything. So, ano ba yung pinag-usapan natin? At ba't ko ini-introduce yung mga ganitong bagay? First and foremost, you need to consider that these technologies, these things that I've discussed, these old media, they are not technically dead. Print media is still existing, and until now, still books are source of information or trusted information. But it just so happened that because of the emerging technologies, it took another form of its own. When actually, because of those emerging technologies, nagkaroon lang ng iba't ibang market behavior for everyone. So, kayo bilang mga business major, so later, you will understand that these technologies could make you rich or could make you poor. Why? Because, as we know, the economy depends on these things, these factors. Kasi if you are left behind and you still do the traditional way without exploring the new ways, baka hindi the what do you call this? Yung mga result that you are looking forward to will not appear. So now bilang teacher ninyo, later I want to hear your thoughts about these emerging technologies. Kasi mamaya, I will give you a homework, of course, kasi hindi ko naman kayo nakadiscuss ngayon. So, this homework will just practically ask you, ano yung mga natutunan nyo ngayon. Kasi malalaman ko yan kung hindi kayo nakinig sa aking klase during this module. So, I just want to hear or to see from your works na at least nagigets niyo yung mga ideas or you have a certain grasp of the terms that I already mentioned. So that's all for now, guys, and thank you for listening, and hopefully you have learned something from me today.